Okay, welcome back. We are in our third video of this series, technically, little tutorial on Autodesk Inventor for my 8th grade students here in Gateway to Technology class. But this is kind of our first one where we're going to really make something. In fact, we're going to make this fidget spinner here. So honestly, whether you're in this 8th grade class or not, still worthwhile to watch and kind of learn how to put things together, how to make this specific fidget spinner, and so on. But in fact, this spinner specifically is the model from our 3D printer. We have a Dremel 3D printer, and when you first buy them, they have preloaded models you can just print. You don't have to design, upload, and that. One of them being this fidget spinner here. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys how to design and make these on the model software here, but we're also then, once we're done modeling them, we should be able to put them back in the 3D printer and print yours to take home. So there we go. We will start again by, I'm just showing you the final model here. There are 3 components. There's the 2 inner pieces that snap together in the bearing, and the piece here. I'm not going to model the bearing. That is a off-the-shelf part that we will not be needing to model up. So getting started. First thing we're going to do, you are going to be in your home screen, and we are going to, again, specifically for this fidget spinner, we are going to create 3 different parts. The assembly is made up of fidget spinner frame, centerpiece 1, centerpiece 2. So we need to make those individual parts. So to do that, let's go ahead. We don't need to save that. We'll go back to our home page. That's where you can start. Go up here. Again, there's lots of ways to do this, but we're going to start a new part. So I'm going to go up here and start that. When you start a new part, the first thing you always need to do, anytime you want to add new features, you need to start a sketch. So we're going to come up here. Mine is already start 2D sketch. So if yours is not, you want to make sure you can go back to 2D sketch. If it is, you can just click on the icon. So if you click on the drop downs, it'll only give you options. It won't actually do anything. So make sure you hit the icon up above. From there, we're going to choose an XY plane. I mean, you could choose any of the 3. We will start with the XY plane because what you'll notice is, for example, if I wanted to start a circle, it's going to ask me my center point. If you notice the X and the Y coordinate values, this is your traditional Cartesian coordinate. So I'm in the upper right, the first quadrant. You'll notice my X and my Y are positive. If I go to the second quadrant, my X is negative, Y is still positive. If you were to choose a different work plane, the XZ or the YZ, those can get a little bit more confusing just simply because the values don't necessarily line up with what you're used to. So when we go ahead and start this fidget spinner, you know what, I'm actually gonna, before I do that, I want to show you how I built the frame. So I can actually go up here and remove all the components. The order in which we do this is we will create 2 different extrusions, but we're going to use what's called a circular pattern to create the symmetry. So within that, what I'm talking about here is the, so I'll go down here. My very first extrusion is actually, it looks like this little figure 8. And I made the figure 8, the whole thing with dimensions and numbers. But you'll notice the next command I use over here on the left side, the next command I use is a circular pattern. So in doing that, in coming down, hold on, I gotta minimize that. And coming down to that pattern, you'll see that it actually took and patterned that top circle 3 times. Once I do that, I also notice that there's a little, it's a bit of a harsh corner here. So I want to soften that corner up and fill that in with some material. So to do that, I just add another extrusion. You'll notice that extrusion was only on this corner or set of corners here. And the last thing I did was I patterned that additional material, and it kind of softened the whole thing up. So let's see, let's go back then, part 2. Again, what we're really trying to get at is extrusion 1 here. So we want to make that. To do that, I'm going to start my very first circle. All these things are going to be based in circles. So my very first circle, I like to snap it. With that green dot, it means it's exactly on a special point. In this case, it's the origin. So when I select that, I open that up. This is going to be the opening of where the bearing goes. So I've already taken the liberty to measure that. And that opening, again, as I create sketches, I click on it once. I click on it the second time there. I did not tell it what dimension, because I'm going to go up now to the ribbon. Click on dimension. I click on the circle, and then I come out here a little ways off. I click one more time, and it asks me for the dimension. For us, that's 0.875 inches. Now, unless you've gone in and altered it, the default for our system and our computers is US customary and inches. So I just have to type in the number it assumes inches. So with that said, we have our first circle. We want what we need now is the wall thickness, right? We need something that's a little bit thicker to create the actual wall thickness of my fidget. There's two ways to do that. Now I can come in here, I can make another circle, and I have to go in and dimension it. Well, I know that I want the wall thickness to be 0.2 inches all the way around. Okay? To do that, that means I have to do some math. I got 0.875 plus 0.2 here and another 0.2 inches down here. I try to make my own life easier when I can. So I'm going to teach you another command. Up here on the ribbon, I'm actually going to, hold on, I'm going to go back and delete that circle. On the ribbon, I see in the modify section this offset command. If you choose offset, here's what you're going to do. If you select an existing sketch, so for example, I click on the circle, and if I move out, the dimension that it is giving me is actually the dimension of how thick of a wall that I'm creating, the distance between these two items. So while I'm moving, I don't click yet. I can simply just leave my mouse go to the keyboard, and I want that offset, which we know is our wall thickness of the fidget. We want the offset, I said, to be 0.2 inches. Hit enter, and it'll give you the wall thickness exactly as such. So there it is down there. Okay, so I can dimension that if I want. I can click the dimension, the inner circle to the outer circle. It will ask me for that dimension. Now, when I click, it says, hold on, adding this will over-constrain. What that means is I already have 0.2 inches down here as a dimension. So I do not need to add it a second time. All right, so I have my first fidget, my center circle, and I know from my assembly, actually, let's go to this far right there. I'll go to the end. I know that from this circle to this circle, remember when I did that? When I created it, I created circle 1, and now here's my wall thickness. Here's circle 2 up here. All right, so we need to figure out how far away is circle number 2. Well, if I go to the circle command, come up here, I just need to make sure that it's centered on the y-axis. At this point, I'm not as worried about how high up or down. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to click out here in space, and I'm going to click again. I'm going to dimension that circle to also click one more time. It lets me edit. I'll make that the same, 0.875. Okay. I will then also offset that circle by 0.2 inches. I'll let everyone get caught up here. Pause, rewind, go back, do what you need to here. But right now, what I'll say is I know that I've set the sizes of these circles, but check this out. I can grab this circle, and if it lets me, oh, there it is. I gotta grab the center. I can't grab the edge. If I want, I can move this circle anywhere I want right now. It won't change the size because I've set the dimensions of that, right? So I just, by the way, I use Control Z anytime I screw up, I hit the wrong button, wrong number, do something I don't like. Control Z undoes whatever command you just did. All right, so back to my frame. How far apart is that circle and that circle? Well, let's see. I know that the ring thickness of my top circle has to come down and touch so that they overlap, right? The wall thickness of the bottom, the wall thickness of the top, they're the same. This right here, this distance right here is only 0.2 inches. So if I were to extend this green circle, it would come down and just touch that circle and then come back. Same thing with the bottom one comes up. If you were to extend it, it would just kiss the bottom of that circle and come back. So what I'm trying to do is I need to get this guy pretty much to come down like this. Okay, well, that's great and all, but it's not perfect. You can see that I'm not exactly spot on. So let's do the math. What is that dimension? So if I want to add the dimension from this center point here, I click there and I click here. Now, I'll do that again. Dimension command, click from the center of this circle, click the center of this circle, and then I want to come out this direction, and I click one more time. Now, what that's doing is it's going to lock in how high up my top circle goes. So how do we know how tall that is? Well, it's very simple. From the center to here is the radius of my 0.875 circle plus 0.2 inches. That's the wall thickness here. So I've got the radius of the circle, 0.2 inches, and another radius from the top circle here. So if you really think about it, the radius here plus the radius down below gives me the diameter of a circle, right? 2 radii make a diameter. I know my diameter is 0.85. I also just have to add 0.2 inches to that. So the dimension from center of circle to center of circle is the radius plus the radius, 0.875 total, plus the wall thickness of my fidget, 0.2 inches. When I hit enter, there we go. It's 1.075 to be exact. But the nice thing is, I didn't have to know that it was 1.075. I was able to just type in the math that I knew should work. Okay, from here, we have enough information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this sketch. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. From our sketch, we're going to extrude. And we're going to extrude. Now you can see all the green highlighting and what's going on. If I only choose and click that one green space, you'll see that the only thing that extrudes is that region, right? So the only region right now is that space. Well, that's not helpful because I need more than that. The good news is I can just keep clicking. If I bring my mouse over here, I click on that, it fills in that circle. If I click here, it takes up the rest of that circle. So that gets us our thickness. We just need to change how thick of a distance. For us, it'll be 0.2 inches. 0.2 inches again. So let's see. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I can check this. I don't think 0.2 is right. There we go. So our thickness is actually going to be 0.275. I'm glad I checked that. So you're going to go to extrude. Good practice. We're going to go to this green region, that green region, and that green region. Our thickness, distance, 0.275. We hit OK. And that will have to be the end of video 1, but we are well on our way. We've got a little bit of circular pattern, some filleting, and we are good to go. So hang with me and I'll see you in the next video.